Hello and welcome to Let's Talk, your optimal community night. I'm super excited to be here with you all tonight. I am Amy Mills and I have some amazing stories to share from people that are just really dear to my heart. And I hope you all brought this amazing book along, Your Habits of Health, because we're going to dive into that. But I want to take you along a little journey of riding a bike, right? How many of you have rode a bike and you had maybe the training wheels on and you were like very unstable, but kind of secure and as you're riding and you felt really good. But yet you still needed to take the training wheels off. That's what I feel like this Habits of Health brings you. You have the nutrition, you have your program, you have your amazing coach, but you really are going to dive in and learn how do I take the training wheels off as we keep going. So maybe tonight you're riding the bike for the first time and you really committed to your journey, which is so amazing. Welcome. Or maybe tonight you're going through the next phase, which is transition, and you're learning something new there. And or maybe tonight you're in optimal health and you're like, hey, I have a new goal and I'm getting on my training wheels again to accomplish that goal. And so as our speakers come on tonight, I really want to introduce you to one of my really good friends, Nancy, who, 6 years ago, I actually got to meet her. She didn't really know me, but I kind of knew her. She was like a celebrity to me, honestly. We had gone onto a trip with Optavia, and there was Nancy. And I was like so excited to see her and meet her and hear her story. And once I heard her story, it just has stuck with me for these last 6 years. It just truly has been amazing. And when I was talking with her, I didn't know this, but 13 years ago, this week is when Nancy had committed to her health journey. And but a little bit before that, she actually did buy a kit. And she was the first person I had known to actually return her kit at that time because it just wasn't in her journey to start, right? But then she ended up at Universal and she was wanting to get on a roller coaster ride and she waited in the line and she waited and waited to get into that roller coaster. And as she got in there, she actually did not fit. And from that moment, she remembered talking to somebody about the program and left there and said, I am never going to show up like that again. And she decided to be committed and make the choice and start her amazing journey. And so I'm super excited to introduce you to Nancy Strauss, one of my really dear friends. And I hope you just have a moment that you realize you're also riding that bike with the training wheels like we all started at. And Nancy's going to show you how to take them off.
Oh, well, thank you so much. Thanks for having me tonight. This is really always a privilege when you guys ask me to talk. Yes, I am a little sentimental because 2 days ago, 13 years ago, I started program. And yes, I quit the first time. I lasted a day and a half. I sent my food back. And then 5 months later, not fitting on that roller coaster, wild horses couldn't have stopped me. I was so ready. I was ready to be done with diets. I was ready to stop with my excuses, with my addictions. I just wanted healthy, or I knew I was on a path for diabetes like the rest of my family, both sides. And I knew what my destination would be. I didn't like the road I was on. I didn't want to end up where I was headed. So I decided to turn the bus around. And I embraced all of Optavia, and I'm so, so grateful today. And I'm a little sentimental because it's my health anniversary. So yay me. But that's going to be you guys someday. How cool is that? I have a long, long history of being the yo-yo dieter. Anyone else? Like you lose the weight, you deprive yourself, you're a little cranky, and then yay, I'm at goal and I get to go back to, oh, waking again. Yep. I did that a million times. And I was a closet binge eater. Yep. I would hide the evidence of all I was eating deep in the trash can. And I was on this cycle of just losing weight, gaining it, losing it, weight, and gaining it back every time. I know I'm not alone in that. But it hit me between the eyes. Like, if I keep doing that, I will always have this same cycle. It is time to change my life. And so I am just so in love with Optavia. It's so different. What makes us different? You know, I was having a party here a couple of months ago, and my neighbor was here and she said, "So what's this Optavia thing?" And two of my clients were there and they reached in their purses and they pulled out fuelings. And I was like, "Ugh, I mean, yeah, but no, this is our program." And yes, I spiraled my notebook or my life book, and yeah, there's no back cover. I mean, I have loved this thing hard. This is our program. And guess what? I'm going to be on program forever because this is our program. Our program is Habits of Health, but I didn't always see it that way. I thought of on program as being on the 5-in-1 or whatever. This is program. And I like to think of it as an owner's manual. You know, if you have a light turn on in your car, your precious car that you take really good care of, if something isn't quite right, what's the first thing you grab out of your glove compartment? You look for the wisdom and the knowledge of your owner's manual. That's this, guys. It's all in here. And I didn't always value that. In the beginning, I kept saying, well, I'm not a reader. I'm just not a reader. And I kept telling myself that, so I wasn't a reader. But guess what? This isn't fluffy stuff. This is stuff that is a game changer. In this book, we learn about managing emotions. We learn about inflammation. We learn about maintaining control when the rest of the world might be crazy, right? We learn about nutrition and exercise and hydration and sleep and even how to keep your brain sharp and how to have optimization after goal. Like, we don't just drop you off at the curb once your weight is gone. We are here for the distance, long term, life after goal, the after, the after. We want to not just take our body for the ride, we want to take our mind with us. And this is a game changer, getting to the root and actually really working on our habits, right? Because as Dr. A says, this isn't about willpower, it's about skill power. It's working on little tiny disciplines that over time you're in autopilot. Okay. So that's what this is about. I thought I knew everything, you drink the water, move your body, eat less, right? I already know that. But you know what? The more I dug into this book, I realized how much I didn't know. And it became a conviction. I almost knew too much then to not treat my body with respect. Once I knew these amazing truths in these books, it made me want to be healthy. And it changed everything for me. So I'm always going to be working on it. And I love it. So I wanted to introduce you to one of my dear friends. She is such a sweetheart. She is a coach on my team. I should talk a little faster so we have enough time for all of this because there's so much goodness coming. But my dear friend and one of my coaches would be Crystal Gerhart. Crystal, you have a long history of being a yo-yo dieter too. So quick, tell us your story. Tell us a little background because it's really powerful.
Yeah, thank you, Nancy. Thank you for having me on here. I feel very, very honored and privileged. And just to tell you a little bit about me, yes, I've been a yo-yo dieter. I've struggled with weight my whole life, from the time I was a child in elementary school all the way through. I have struggled with weight. I have lost weight, gained weight, lost weight, gained weight, and I've never, until recently, been able to master that. Something else about us is we are missionaries to Africa. And that's important to my story because we came home in 2015. I'd never heard of Optavia. And when we got home back to the United States in 2015, I ran into one of my friends who had lost a ton of weight. And I'm like, oh, girl, what are you doing? And she's like, it's Optavia. So I jumped on board immediately, became a coach really quickly. And yeah, it changed my life. It rocked my world. And then about 2020, we all know what happened, right? 2020, COVID hit, life changed for all of us, and weight began to creep on. And at that same time, the same year, we decided we were going to go back to Africa. So this time we had been in Togo, West Africa. This time we went to Zambia and getting to Africa during COVID and all the changes, I gained back almost all of my weight, which was really discouraging. And during my time in Zambia, which is what I want to share with you, is I had a huge life-changing wake-up call. I had three major health issues hit my life, and I almost died twice while I was in Zambia. We were in Zambia, I gained all my weight, just living life. And one morning I woke up and I felt like a pain. And I was like, this just isn't feeling great. I can't breathe. I'm struggling with this pain. We lived out in the bush. So it's 2 hours to the hospital. There's only one hospital in Zambia that's appropriate for us to go to. And so we hopped in the car, traveled there, got there, and they misdiagnosed what was wrong with me. They said I had pleurisy, which is an inflammation of the lining of your lung. Mind you, I didn't tell you, the 2 hour drive does consist of a 6 mile treacherous road that cars can barely pass. It's a dirt road. It has huge holes. You don't get down that road without bouncing around the vehicle, which when you're in pain is really difficult. So they sent me home. That night I couldn't breathe again, went back. By day 3, they misdiagnosed me twice. Third time, I said to my husband, I don't think I'm going to make it down that dirt road to get back to the road, to make it back into the city, to the hospital. But I couldn't breathe. It was really bad. So we got moving and got there. And this time they realized I had a blood clot in my lung. So I was immediately put in intensive care. That was a huge wake-up call for me. That was a huge wake-up call for my health. I was back and being heavy. I was very, very unhealthy. Everything I was eating, it was a very hard time. So I realized at that moment, laying in the hospital, I was like, I need Optavia. Mind you, I'm in Africa. There's no mail system. There's no Amazon. There's no way to call to order something. But I knew what I needed. And I talked to my husband and I said, I have to get food here. So we have people who come out and visit and, come and do missionary visits. And I said, okay, we're going to start calling them. I'm going to say, I'm going to order the food. I'm going to ask someone to please allow me to send food in their suitcases. I'll pay for a suitcase. I'll pay for extra luggage, whatever it takes. I need to get back on track. Before my food even arrived, so I have my books. I did take my books with me to Zambia. So I had my Lifebook and the book with me. So I had the tools I needed. I connected immediately back with Nancy because we could do Zoom calls, we could talk, and I said, hey, I got to get back on program. Just waiting for my food to arrive. And during that time, I realized I was recovering from the blood clot in my lung. I couldn't walk. There was a lot to do with that. I took a long time for me to get back to health with that. Had excruciating pain through my body. And then I realized something else is wrong. Went back to the hospital. Number 2, I got diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis. So, the doctors, of course, want to medicate you. I have a friend who was talking to me and she said, no, I think you can diet control this. So my food arrived, I'm back, I have my books, I have my tools, I'm back in community, I'm losing the weight. I got back down to my healthy goal. However, it did take a little longer. And listen, if it takes a little longer, don't give up. Doesn't mean it's not working. Just keep going, keep going. It's a journey, not a destination. So I kept going, lost all my weight, and then around November 1st, 2023, I was having some major female issues and ended up going straight to the hospital, and they did an emergency hysterectomy. I almost bled to death. My blood count was below 6, and it was a very dangerous situation. And what I love about that, though, is that it was the same doctors that took care of me, because remember, it's one hospital. They know me very well. That doctor who took care of me with the blood clot in my lung, she's also one who did the hysterectomy surgery. And after the surgery, and I was waking up, she looked at me and she said, hey, I'm so glad you lost weight. She said, you have no fat in there, and that surgery was so easy. So I thought that was quite a testimony to our program. So I love that. And yeah, and now we're back in the States, and I'm still a coach. I work at a gym. I work out. You see the picture there of me lifting. I have goals. I turned 50 in July. I would like to build muscle, lose fat, gain strength. I got some goals I'm working toward. Although I'm at my ideal goal weight, the journey's not over, right? It's not a destination, it's a journey. It's a lifelong optimization journey for me.
Oh, so stinking proud of you. And I think you said that's 150 pounds you were squatting there. I have 5-pound weights over here. I'm really pretty proud of that. But goals, #goals, be like Crystal. Love that. And I love that you switched the flip, where you're just like, I'm not going back there again. It's a decision. So let's move along, because we got a lot to cover here. But you go from reading words on a page, that's one thing, to implementing. So here are some of our thoughts. These are some of our mind shifts that really helped us, and hopefully it helps you. And then we're going to give you a couple top tips. All right, number one, go ahead, Krista. What was one of your quick top tip?
Yeah, so one of the things I think for all of us is just to be clear on what do you want? Why are you doing this? When we're clear on our why, when we know what we want, we know what we're shooting for, when you can think ahead to the future of what you want, where you're going to be, that really helps with your situation.
Yeah. For me, here's mine. This is a biggie. When I would lose weight, I always felt like I was in this pretty utopia. I'm in paradise and I don't belong here long. Like I know I'm visiting and I know I'm going to go back to overweight land. But while I'm here in healthy land, I'm going to enjoy it. And it's really special and clothes just slide right on. But I know I'm going to ricochet back. But while I'm here, I'm going to enjoy it. Well, no, this time with Optavia, I changed the way I viewed myself. I was home. I've always belonged here. I'm not visiting. There's no going back. I am now Nancy, the healthy girl. I vacation like a healthy girl. I go food shopping like a healthy girl. I think like a healthy girl because I am one. I'm not an imposter. And I think when I changed my identity, the way I viewed myself, it changed, but I had to stop thinking I was visiting. Okay, back to you, Crystal.
Yeah, so another one is fall in love with it. Like fall in love with doing the program. You know, like I said a minute ago, it's not a destination, right? We're not just doing a diet to get somewhere and then we're just going to quit and go back to how we were because that'll get us the same place we've been, right? So fall in love with the journey, enjoy it, see it as a journey, enjoy every step of the way, reward yourself along the way. It's not just pounds, right? It's also you drank your water, you did the Lifebook today. Enjoy the journey. Fall in love with it.
Absolutely. Okay, how about this one? Don't ever depend on my moods and my emotions of the day to back me up. Like my goals don't care what my mood is, right? But you can't depend on that. So, like I said earlier, it's about creating little tiny disciplines. Maybe it's one meal at a time, maybe it's one day at a time, but string enough of these little disciplines, it becomes autopilot. It becomes your new normal to do the right thing. So don't count on if you feel like it or not, because your emotions aren't always there for you. Crystal?
Yeah, another one is, and this might sound a little snarky or sarcastic, but ask yourself, how's that working for you? Right? You know, sometimes we get those days where we just want to quit, but we know where that gets us, right? How's that working for us? Or we decide that we're tired of eating whatever it is, or whatever the struggle is, but you think the grass is greener on the other side. Remember, ask yourself, how's that working for you?
Yes. And you already know what the French fries taste like. Don't you want to know what a size 8 feels like? So I love that. Okay. I get to drive the car. I'm the one driving the car. No one's force feeding me. This is my journey. I can do whatever I want. I can head either direction. I have the freedom of choice, but I don't have the freedom of consequences. So I get to decide if I don't like the direction I'm going, I get to turn the bus around. And if you don't like where you're headed, you are the one in charge of that. Crystal?
Yeah, the next one is like all or nothing, which I really struggle with. I'm definitely like, oh, I messed up today, so I'll quit and then I'll restart next Monday. But we
Yeah.
know what happens when you restart next Monday, right? You eat all the stuff in the refrigerator, you hurry up and have the ice cream that you were missing. You hurry up and go out to eat 5 more times, you gain 10 more pounds, and then you're ready just to mess up one more time and restart. So it's not the all or nothing, right? You get one flat tire, you don't put holes in all the rest. You drop your phone and get a crack in it. You don't throw it down and break it so it's not usable, right? Or think of a test. It could be like a test. If you got an 85 on your test, how do you feel? Depends what subject, right? If it was history, I'm terrible at history. If you give me an 85 on a test, I would count that as a win. It's not about perfection. It's all about your progress, right? We don't have to be 100%. It's not perfection, it's progress.
That's so true. Okay, here's a big one, guys. Just because it comes from my brain doesn't make it true. And I don't consider myself a liar, but this whole back part of my brain lies to me all the time. I call it my roommate. I've named her Bertha. I don't know. Sorry if that's your name. But she's a bully. She tells me I'm a failure. She tells me I can't do this. She points out every single excuse. She wants to keep me the same. She hates change. Her whole job is to keep me safe and predictable. And any kind of change from what I've always done, she doesn't like it. So there's this part of your brain, and then there's this part of your brain, your prefrontal cortex. That's the real you. That's the you that has goals and dreams and wants to be healthy and wants to be able to play with the Legos on the floor with your grandkids, right? So, what part of your brain are you going to listen to? If it sounds like an angel and a devil all the time on your shoulder, it is. So, I have to wrangle the beast all day. I am flipping thoughts. What if the opposite is true? All day long. What if the opposite is true? So another thing, I also get pretty ornery with that, Bertha, and I tell her, oh yeah, watch me. Watch me. Go ahead, underestimate me. That'll be fun. And I dig my heels in. Okay, how about you, Crystal?
Yeah, the next one I want to share with you is something that it really always reaches the deepest part of my heart, because I think a lot of us don't feel worthy, right? We start out and we feel, we're not happy with who we are. We walk past the mirror, we don't love who we see, and we never feel worthy. And I just want to say, don't do this program to become worthy. You do it because you are worthy. You are worthy. And it's a whole different mindset when you look at it that way. If you're doing something to become worthy, you're missing who you are. You are worthy.
Absolutely. And last but not least, take someone with you. Have a buddy, coach, bring people. If you help someone else, it helps you rise up. Surround yourself with community. We've got these amazing win calls. We have the Monday night calls. I'm sure your teams do different cool things, but being in community and helping others, that has helped my journey. You don't even know. It's been amazing. So rise up, help someone else, and it makes a huge difference. So getting into the books. What are the best tips you've got for us, Crystal? Let's go through them real quick. What are your best tips for opening up the book and building a habit there?
Yeah, I got 5 tips for you. So the first one is just keep the book visible, right? We don't want it tucked away somewhere you forget about it. Put it on your nightstand, on your end table, coffee table. Keep it with you. Keep it around so you see it. As Nancy showed you earlier, she spiralized hers, that you don't buy them that way. You can take them to like Staples. I think it's like $9. You get it spiralized. It's just easier to use, more user friendly. It makes you want to use it, right? Do 2 pages a day. 2. Only 2. We're not asking you to read chapters upon chapters. 2 pages a day takes 5 minutes, right? The next one is look for your treasure. Look for something that you can actually apply to yourself for that day. Highlight it, underline it, mark it, think about it, and apply it to your journey. And lastly, do some habit stacking, right? You take a fueling, use it as a bookmarker, sit down, have a fueling, read your couple pages, and make your habits. Spend time in that life book.
So easy peasy. I love that. And remember that whole I'm too busy thing. 5 minutes is 1/3% of your day. We all have 5 minutes. So I love that. And Crystal, thank you for literally popping our balloon of excuses. Like if you can do this from Africa, you took away all our excuses. So thank you for that. I love cutting out the excuses, because that's when the progress happens, and it's truth. It's real truth. So who is ready to say this? Okay. Say this to yourself. I read. You might not say I'm a reader, but say I read. I am a healthy person. I am worthy. I am doing this. And there is no finish line. This is about mindfulness and keeping your head in the game forever. So best wishes to you guys. We are rooting for you. You've got this, and we're so excited that you're here. That's a great start. So I'm going to hand it over to Jan. You got to finish this up and tie it with a bow, guys.
Right. Oh my gosh, Crystal and Nancy, that was amazing. So, all right, I'm here to just say, wow, they talked about so many awesome tools, and especially our fantastic Habits of Health system in our life book. And she referenced it as a owner's manual at the beginning.
And I love that because Wednesday night, guys, we're going to do a deep dive into that idea of what if our bodies came with an owner's manual? Would we read it? Would we use it? And would it make a difference in the choices you make if you understood truly what was going on under the hood? Right? Okay, so look at this little slide. We've got all kinds of healthcare professionals that are going to be helping us out, answering your questions, teaching you about your body in a deep dive that you've never experienced before. So we want to invite you to come. It's at 6:30 p.m. Mountain Time. And invite people, invite your family, invite a friend, come and learn about your body from the perspective of an owner's manual. It's going to be a lot of fun. So I look forward to you guys joining in. And I'm going to hand it back to Amy.
Wow, guys, that was truly amazing. So I hope you got some of those tips to start taking those training wheels off wherever you're at on your journey. You know, when I open my Lifebook, I feel like I'm having coffee with Dr. A because everything he's speaking is, you know, his way of how we got here and what we're doing. In fact, there's a part in here, a little metaphor of, you know, when it seems like such a massive task that we're taking on. He said the best way is to eat an elephant is one bite at a time. And so I just want to thank you, Nancy. That was so amazing. So amazing tips. If you missed some of them, you know, join the podcast and you can re-listen to it anytime. I love that when I'm walking and doing those things. And then next week, we are going to have some health pros on. It's going to be Q&A with the doctors. And so come join us, bring some questions because we are going to be answering them for you. And so join us next week on Let's Talk, and super excited to connect with you guys again on our community night. Have a good one.